Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back. We're finally going to take some cuttings off of the test red osier dogwood. I don't know if you guys watched some of the previous videos I did, but this red osier dogwood, it just started growing naturally in this pallet. And I did a few videos on, how using something like a pallet like this could actually be a really good weed barrier for establishing red osier dogwood. And now here the plant is 4 years later. It's probably 6 feet tall. It's probably almost that wide, 5 or 6 feet wide. And it's just getting kind of big. So I want to move some cuttings to actually another piece of property. And so that's what we're going to do today. I might be a little late to the game, and I hope this doesn't matter. You guys can see this is budding out already a little bit. And I think typically you want to do this while the plant is still dormant, but you know what? We'll use that as an experiment as well. And what's been really cool too, not only with this, but if you look around my property now that this got established, there's red osier dogwood all over the place in places where it never used to be. There's some right here by the fence. This is, I'd talked about in another video too. Once you kind of get dogwood in a spot, things like a fence is actually great to propagate it, because the birds, once they eat the berries and start pooping out seeds, you'll start finding a lot of dogwood along the edges of fences, or like in these spots that we were just looking at right over here, right at the, easy branches for birds and stuff to land on. It's pretty cool when you see one plant get established and all of a sudden an area that never had red osier dogwood just kind of blow up. So we're going to start taking cuttings. I'll show you guys what it is that I'm going to do. And yeah, hopefully we get a whole bunch of them off of this plant. So typically when I've propagated some cuttings before, or just watched other videos on how to do it, some of these like pencil size cuttings typically work best. But you know what? I'm going to cut most of this down because, one, I want a bunch of cuttings. Two, I really don't want to waste anything. So some of the other less than ideal things that I'm cutting off, I'm still going to throw them in my bucket of water, and I'm going to try planting them anyways. Who knows? This is an area where we're going to just try to put a bunch in. We're not going to protect it or anything like that. So it really is just putting as many in the ground as we can. But just make sure when you take them, you know which side is up versus down. If you plant a cutting upside down, it's not going to grow. And one way to remember which way is up and down, as well as to promote root growth, is just shave off a little bit of the bottom like that. Just kind of score it with either your snippers or a pocket knife or something like that. That way you know exactly which end goes in the ground, and this kind of just roughing or scoring that end is going to help promote root growth as well. As we keep cutting here, we're even going to take some of these really big ones. I don't see any reason why we don't just try them, because like I said, we're going to cut most of this down. So it'll be interesting to see how some of these bigger, like dime sized ones do, because I've never planted one this big, but be a good experiment. All right, guys, there you go. We got basically that whole dogwood cut up. I left a few of the new the newer shoots coming up out of that, and I just kind of want to see how this thing does, in the future, as well as some of those bigger, toward the base of the bush. But we're just going to stick with this one. We're not going to worry about any of the other ones. We got quite the bucket there of cuttings to plant. Some are ideal, some are really good ones, or at least what you would kind of stereotypically think of a good dogwood cutting. Others are kind of goofy tops or splits or whatever. We're going to stick those in the ground and see if they work too. I want to walk over here before we wrap this video up, because we haven't really done any update on dogwoods or the willows or anything. So I want to show you guys how big some of the willows are that we planted, what was it, 5 years ago. So let's walk over to the other side of the yard and I'll show you those. All right, so when I purchased those hybrid willows, I think I just got them from eBay. I put 5 of them right here in this wet stuff right off of my backyard as kind of a test, and some that would be easy for me to get if I want to take more cuttings. So I planted 5 of them here, one of them right there. Here's one right here that didn't make it, You can even see, like it started to, you could see what the original cutting was right there. It started growing, and then for whatever reason, this one didn't make it. Check out this one right here. This one is huge. This one's probably, I don't know, 15, 17 feet tall. It's about as big around as a golf ball at the base of it. You can't even tell it was planted from a cutting. So this one's doing awesome. There's another one right there that I did. You can see the original cutting and what's growing. And that one's kind of back a little far, but it looks like that one's still growing. And I honestly, you guys, I don't know where the fifth one was. It must not have made it. So these ones have done pretty well. I mean, especially this one. If we keep kind of taking a look at this one, these have done well. The ones back in the woods, and I apologize, you guys, I don't have my boots on right now, so I can't walk through that stuff and show you guys. Those ones are still alive, but they've been browsed by the deer, so they are shorter and they're very bushy. They've got just like a whole bunch of shoots and branches and stuff coming out of them, but they're not very tall. They're probably only 2 feet tall because the deer keep browsing them. Next time I'm back there, if you guys want to see those, I can show those to you too. But yeah, you definitely don't have to buy these either if you have them. Like if you have willows like this one, or I mean, these are some bigger willows right here. You can just take cuttings. I've had good success just taking cuttings, as well as these ones that I've purchased. So they like the wet stuff, but they also do pretty good on some of the drier ground. Some of the farms I hunt, there's willows everywhere, and it's really not super wet. But if you've got mucky stuff like this, it's certainly easy to just jam a cutting into that nice soft mud and stuff, keep it sticking up a little bit, and then, 5 years, it might look something like that. All right, so there you go, you guys. I hope you enjoyed that video. We're going to take those dogwood cuttings, like I said, over to another property. I can kind of show you where we're going to put those, and hopefully we get those in the next couple days here. We've got some rain and stuff in the forecast, so it'll be a good time while the ground's still nice and soft to get those plugged in. But yeah, you can kind of see, after 5 years with the willow, and then after 4 years with that dogwood, I mean, the stuff it's inexpensive, especially if you can find it. It grows fast. The deer like it for browse as well as cover if you can get it, really thick in some spots. So it's great stuff to plant on your property, especially for properties wet like mine. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, do me a favor, hit that like button down below. Also, don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you guys soon on the next video. Take care. God bless. Remember, be a sportsman, make a sportsman.